Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Soulianos and brought to you by his book, The Bible of Bodybuilding 2, over 800 pages or 700. It's a big book. Everything you need to know about training, nutrition, supplementation, of course, PED use. While you're on Amazon.com buying that book, go ahead and buy mine. Christmas is coming. You guys need gifts. And now, all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome Dr. George Soulianos. How are you, Doc?
Hi, Ron. I saw that you took off your blaster, your brace, and you're able now to flex a little bit.
Well, I'm going to start today. If I can show this, I'm going to take off the headphones for a second. Show my RoboCop leg. Let's see, I'm slow. Yeah, so we got this thing. Yeah. Ooh.
So it's a little bit atrophies, right?
Not too much. I've seen it. We only unwrap it to take a shower, but it's not that much smaller. It'll get smaller. I don't care. I like my branch. How do you like my branch shirt? That's my dog.
Yeah, branch. Yeah.
Got that from my brother. Yeah, I start physical therapy today. So I'm very excited about that. Because I need to be at the Olympia. Got to see you and everybody else in Orlando.
Are you able to walk now without
I can walk. That leg is. I use crutches just to make it easier, but I can walk. I've been walking all around the house for the whole time. Yeah. I also started a new medication. I saw my cardiologist last Thursday, and he asked me if I want to try losartan. I said, "What do I need that for?" Because I don't have high blood pressure. My blood pressure was 122/62.
So what was the reason of that?
He says, "Well, you're using more testosterone than you should for legitimate TRT." I said, "Yeah, that's true." And I throw in a little bit of deca. He said, "This will help prevent kidney damage, further damage to the heart." Yeah, so it's it's a very low dose.
Yes, I'm also taking.
Yeah, is that the same? Does telmisartan?
It lowers your hematocrit actually in the long run.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm only on 15 milligrams a day, so it's a pretty low dose, just like my statin is a low dose. So we got the list for Olympia University, the full panel that you're going to be part of. This is happening in Orlando, Friday morning. Wow, it's actually all day Friday. Regenerative therapies panel is it and hormone? Okay, so you're going to be part of probably the hormone optimization panel. There's two panels. There's Saturday. Oh, it goes Friday and Saturday. Yeah. Wow. Which day are you going to be doing your presentation?
We have the day one, I think, is the roundtable. Day two of the presentations. Thomas also will be there. Ray Collins will be there.
Yeah, we got a list. It's Christy Alexson, PhD, Andrew Coates, Rick Collins, Lee Dornty, Eric Feet, Ali Gilbert, Jordan Grant, Nick Lamb, Nathan Payton, Thomas O'Connor, Donald Ozello, Robert Santana, and very last on the list because it's alphabetical, George Soulianos, MD. Great panel. I'm only familiar with some of these names, but this is something a lot of people don't take advantage of this. It's part of your VIP ticket. If you have a VIP ticket, you can go to this and learn from the greatest minds.
Not necessarily. I mean, during the registration, when you get your tickets to receive them, they also say extra the Olympic University, and actually they give them for free. I think they're just invitations.
Right. Yeah. So if you guys want to learn, you've already built up your bodies. You want to learn a little bit more about all these things. Rick Collins. I'd love to sit there and listen to Rick just on the legal aspects of the supplement industry and the way the laws have been changing and different things. Fascinating stuff. If you guys have time, you definitely want to check that out. And of course, we get Dr. T every here answering your questions, but this is an entirely different formal presentation he's going to make. If you get a chance, check out.
So Dr. the organizer is Michael Palmieri with Lazy Pudding, that also organized the Arnold educational seminars. And Michael Cousins from Balance My Hormones is going to be a sponsor. Oh, okay, but for the first time, Thomas O'Connor, shows up, and it's a great thing. I mean, it's a great opportunity for me to meet him and film a video.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, you've met him before, Thomas?
Never.
Oh, not in real life. We've only met like through Zoom and stuff, right? Oh wow. Oh, you'll love. He's a cool dude. You're gonna love Thomas. He's funny. He's always making jokes. I love Thomas. Anyway, let's get into some questions. We got some good questions this week, guys. First off, a very popular herbal supplement that people have been using over the past few years. Dr. T, what is your opinion on the herb ashwagandha? Can this herb be taken in conjunction with a TRT protocol? I've seen and heard a lot of hype about this herb these last few years. Does it work? At what dosage? So what do people use ashwagandha for?
I've been using ashwagandha for the past few months in order to relieve my stress, to lower my cortisol. Cortisol increases out of insomnia, release out of stress, out of caffeine abuse. You know, and when you have high cortisol, you cannot manage stress well. So ashwagandha improves the ratio of cortisol to testosterone. As we know, cortisol eats up muscle and makes you so fat. But you can stack ashwagandha with rhodiola and DHEA as a perfect stack against the high cortisol. It makes the adrenals work better, you know, more efficiently, not to be burnt out, the fatigue, the adrenal insufficiency. That happens after you stimulus your nervous system and your adrenals with a lot of stimulants, and then the adrenaline rush eventually will toast the adrenals. I'm sorry. So ashwagandha is good to be used first in the morning and last thing before going to bed, because cortisol elevates from midnight until dawn. So you catch it to the beginning to the end, okay? And actually, when cortisol is high at night, when it's supposed to be low, you're insomnia. What happens then? Cortisol is blood sugar, okay? Elevates the blood sugar. Then the pancreas will lower this as part of the homeostasis and the physiology, but then the hypoglycemia will drive you to the fridge to eat some cakes. On the other hand, cortisol makes you fat because the lipogenic hormone, you know, so it's not good to have elevated cortisol. That is a stress hormone at night. On the other hand, cortisol is elevated in the morning because in ancient people, it wakes you up, you know, awakening with dawn in order to go for food hunting.
It's funny how we still have these crazy instincts from our ancestors from thousands of years ago. We're still hunter-gatherers at heart, really. We did that for, I don't know, the human race is about, I think about 100,000 years old, Homo sapiens sapiens. So we haven't had civilization that long, really, when you think about it. Next one. Question for Dr. T regarding ferritin. 48-year-old male, 105 milligrams test sipping 8 weeks, split into daily injections. I donate blood every 4 months to keep hematocrit in check. Recent blood work shows normal iron level, 113 UG over DL. However, ferritin level is very low at 16 Ng over ml. All other markers in normal range. Is low ferritin a concern if iron level is normal? What should I do to increase?
Yes, your iron stores are low. That means you need to keep taking iron in order to catch up your iron stores, okay? So keep taking iron until it's in the highest levels, and learn that iron is only consumed with vitamin C, otherwise it's not absorbed, and only iron coming from meat or eggs, the hemic iron, okay, not from plant sources like beans or spinach, you know, is not absorbed in this way. On an empty stomach also, it's very important. And then elevate your iron until your ferritin stores need to catch up. Otherwise, you're going to be fatigued and drained, you know, out of low stores of iron.
Yeah, I know it's fairly common for women to have low iron because of their menstrual cycle, because they lose blood every month, but I don't hear too many men with low iron levels. Is that something you see in your practice?
Phlebotomy, blood donation, we have, for instance, myself, I have low iron and low ferritin because I rush to the hospital every 6 weeks to 2 months in order to get rid of the blood, and this eventually make you feel fatigued because of this. So I need to once in a while eat red meat. Even though red meat may elevate your hematocrit, you need to elevate also a little bit your iron, at least the lower normal levels, you know, to be fatigued, you know.
So if you have a high hematocrit, you probably have high iron as well?
Not necessarily, no. On the other hand, if you have high hematocrit, what does it mean? You have more erythrocyte, red blood cells. The red blood cells eat a lot of iron, consume a lot of iron. That's kind of what it happens, you know.
Okay, gotcha.
So you have higher demands.
Interesting. Okay. This is a really good question. Hi, Doc. How many 12-week cycles per year is considered okay for an individual to do, assuming the cycles are not all in? For example, 300 milligrams test and 20 milligrams anavar, or that would be daily, the anavar, or 300 test and 200 deca. So yeah, that's a moderate cycle. 12 weeks, that's 3 months though.
Well, it all depends on your labs. The CBC, the liver, the kidneys, the heart. This is the major panel. You know, you have the deviations. But apart from this, even though your labs may be good, after your 40s, you need to have a calcium score.
Yeah.
Okay. Many people notice that, they find out randomly out of the blue that they have a little bit of calcification, even though they have a good, let's say, blood panel in the lipids. So for a steroid user or a smoker or a family history, you need to have your calcium score at least in your 40s once.
Yeah. I mean, how often, because I haven't had, it's been almost it's been about a year and a half, 2 years since I had my last calcium score. I'm over 50 now. Do you recommend like yearly or every other year?
But at least every 2 years, not every year. But since you take your statin, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah. I mean,
because you solidify, you make it solid your plaque. Yeah. And this is more stable and safer rather than being a soft and can be detached and occlude after,
Do you have a 0 calcium score?
Well, I have a 0, but here I have a tiny thing that pisses me off. That's why I'm taking, my LDL is 40, my HDL is 45, my total cholesterol is 100, but I want this bloody here thing over here to make it like a cement. Yeah. Wow. To be steady, So I have to take this shit, because even though my numbers are super low, I don't know, Thomas believes you can decalcify, but I'm not sure if every cardiologist believes in that. At least make it solid, not be soft.
Yeah, because you don't want to detach, right?
Yeah, I was never a smoker. They say that this is related to smoking, but listen, I was taking steroids, that perhaps are related to this.
Yeah, is it in your carotid artery?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Our final question: testosterone versus trenbolone. Oh boy, what a battle! According to the anabolic androgenic ratios, trenbolone is 5 times more potent than testosterone. Does this mean that one can take 5 times the dose of testosterone compared to trenbolone to get the equivalent gains in muscle mass and fat loss, or is it more complex, such as trenbolone binding affinity to the AR anabolic receptors and downstream effects on IGF-1?
I'm not sure about the latest, but the main benefit of testosterone is that aromatizes and causes this bulking effect. Okay, otherwise trenbolone is a dry drug. Yeah. So it's not in front of bulking with trenbolone. Even though we're using trenbolone F8 for strength, that may give you extra mass through the training, testosterone is a classic drug for off-season because it aromatizes, like also dianabol, like oxymethylone when you stack them, like, for instance, methyltestosterone, like nandrolone, drugs that aromatize make you look bulkier. And of course, this is part of the bulking effect, as Bill Welling describes in Anabolics. Higher estrogenic activity improves the IGF-1, lubricates the joints, also increases the andogenic receptor activity, affinity. All right, so it's benefit to bulk with more estrogens. But on the other hand, trenbolone is 5 times more androgenic. What does this mean? It burns more efficiently fat than testosterone. And it's also 5 times more anabolic than testosterone. I think the best thing is to join trenbolone with testosterone because you have also the high anabolic, high androgenic, but also the estrogenic effects of testosterone.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Dorian Yates talked about his cycles, and he's very honest. I don't think Dorian has any reason to lie. So he would I think he was taking 750 milligrams of testosterone a week, and he was only taking 152 because Parabolin came in those 76 milligram.
Taking twice a week. That's what I remember.
Yeah, so that comes out to 152 versus 750. So that you can see the ratio. Because I hear people taking crazy amounts of tren, and I don't think anybody this is just bro science. I'm not speaking as a medical professional like you would be. Nobody needs more than 300, 400 milligrams of trenbolone at the maximum.
That's a casual dose, but I have to tell you, I've heard stories about 1 gram.
Oh yeah, all the time. But that's crazy. To me, that's insane. That's a lot of the side effects you would feel a gram of trenbolone.
Does it make you feel better than 1 gram? Are you out with 1 gram? Or you just another gym rat?
You're not going to sleep. If you're taking a gram of testosterone, trenbolone a week, you're going to be up all night. You're going to have crazy insomnia. It's not your life is not going to be pleasant. It's going to be hell. Just back to that question about the cycles. One thing I wanted to mention was the year So he wanted to know 12-week cycles. A year is 52 weeks. Back in the old days, we used to take equal time on and off cycles. So if you followed the old school pattern of how steroid cycles were administered, or how we practiced them, you would do 12 on, 12 off. So that would only come out to 2 cycles a year if you're doing 12-week cycles. Back in we were much
3
more
months.
conservative. Yeah. Last thing I want to mention, did you hear Big Rami over the weekend at the Dubai Muscle Show?
Well, I think this is what
year.
Steve Weinberger in first place suggested him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going downwards. I mean, since Arnold Class, he didn't improve.
Right. Yeah.
To a minor degree, and frankly, Samson it looks like unbeatable, He's perfect in every aspect, also major improvements for Derek. Brando Carey also always is in top 4 or 5 for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And we have, of course, Harry Schuppen, which is pretty ridiculous in conditioning at the moment.
Yeah.
So the top 5 is very tight. And
Nick Walker, Andrew Jack. I mean, these guys now coming up the ranks. So
to crack the top 5 is really hard.
And for a guy who was 2-time Mr. Olympia to not make top 5, I would hate to see that. I don't want to see that.
When I was in Italy, I heard that Rami wants to call it a day, and dedicating his family. He has 2 wives.
Yes, that's right. Does he have any children with the second wife yet? I don't know.
He has children, and I think that he wishes his children do not follow his career. And this is something very reasonable.
Yeah. I think he has 4 kids.
Thomas posted something, and I said that Thomas agreed that this is the best decision for him and his family.
Yeah.
He's a businessman now. He can collect more money, without killing himself trying to be in the top 5.
Yeah, because think about it. His first pro show was May of 2013, over 10 years. So he's been that big for over a decade. That's a long time, because he's not even 40 years old. So
38.
That's a huge part of your life, to be that big and to be using all the gear and eating all that food. He wants to, if you have children, as you're about to become a dad, we all want to live. I don't think anybody hopefully none of us want to die, but when you have children, you have that extra incentive. You want to be healthy and you want to be alive longer to be there, to watch your kids grow up, to see your grandchildren.
Selfish, Of course, you have to feed your children. Yeah. But now he's an ambassador. He collects money through his name. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Panada, he's got his own supplement company. He's got Panada contract. He's got a weight belt, Chic belts, Gorilla Wear, I think he's with he's got all kinds of endorsements, and they're not going to drop him if he doesn't do the Olympia. He's always going to be a legend. He's got millions of fans all over the world that love him. They will always support him. So I'm honestly, if he never competes again, if he retires,
that's the smartest thing to do. That's the smartest thing to do.
Yeah. So we wish you well, Rami. We wish you well. You're a great guy, great dad. Whatever you choose, we're behind you. All right. Well, that's it for this week, guys. Thank you for watching, but we want you to leave your comments and questions underneath here below in the comment section. We'll get to those next week. Of course, pick up Dr. T's book. If you're going to the Olympia, try to plan your day around getting to that seminar at one point, the Olympia University. It's going to be a very educational experience. You'll learn a lot of things you weren't even aware of. I'm damn sure of it. And that's it. We thank you, Dr. George, for being here every week for the viewers around the world. Very important show. A lot of people, they don't have anyone to turn to with these questions, and they're just looking on Google and trying to figure things out on their own. And that's not the best way to do it. Medical doctor, champion bodybuilder. We're very, very lucky to have you here every week. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Ask Dr. Testosterone with Dr. George Tuliatos. We'll see you right here next week. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.